Welcome to part 2 of the podcast with Hayden from Pumped on Property. This is going to be a continuation from part 1 of this video where we talked a little bit about what you do with Pumped on Property, supporting our clients from, purchasing their property through to settling on that property and the things that they experience, plus also explaining your journey over the last 10 years and what that sort of looked like and how that shaped the person that you've become. But it's all well and good to look at the past and see how that's led to where we are today, but it's also exciting to look at where we are right now and how that's going to shape the future that we want. The last 10 years have sort of been you building that wealth and building that portfolio that will enable you to live the life that you want. But now you've kind of moved past that accumulation phase. You're more in what we would consider the consolidation phase of your property investment journey now, where we're seeing you live much more in alignment with your values. You have this idea, this theory of financial peace that you've just embodied and that you're living by. And you've got some really exciting plans and goals and investments that you've got on the go for the future, man. So I'm really excited to talk more about the future. And I think it starts with this idea of financial peace. This is something that Hayden's brought up to me and Ben a bunch about how he's got to where he is today and how that actually makes you feel and how that sort of motivates you to become who you want to become. So tell us more about your idea of financial peace.
Yeah, it's sort of come pretty organically with just noticing the way I felt once I had that accumulation phase done. So I know the strategy is sort of accumulation, consolidation, then financial freedom. That consolidation phase to me, I thought in the past was always well, I've got the base. How can I pay that and that as quick as I can by doing this, this and this? I want to get there in 12 years, 15 years. Whereas I don't feel that as hard as what I did while I was accumulating. Financial peace, the concept to me was I'm not financially free now, but mentally I'm I have no financial stress at all. Some of the things that means for me is the concept of one, just knowing that I've got the asset base that if I do nothing else that I'm financially free in the future. That gives me a peace of mind because it's I don't have to do anything more.
It's your worst case scenario is the majority of the population's best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also get financial peace from having 12 months plus just of a buffer in my offset account. So those two things, knowing I have the asset base and that 12 months covering living expenses, I'm completely at peace financially because I don't want to do nothing now and just I've got some other values and other things I'm into, but I want to be doing meaningful work and stuff that I love over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So I actually I don't really care if the financial freedom comes in 30 years or 15 years. It's I'm going to be doing, I don't want to go work 80-hour weeks, but I want to do 25, 30-hour weeks where whether it's what I'm doing now, helping people invest, whether I get to a place with my training where I can help people be healthier, whatever that may look like, I know with my skills and where I'm at that'll give me some sort of income to fund the next 20 years anyway. So I'm why do I have to be stressed and anxious bringing this financial freedom concept immediately forward as soon as I possibly can when it's I'm loving and how things are at right now anyway.
I'd love to know where that transition occurred as well, because in part 1, you mentioned that in your early 20s, you were hoping to be financially free by 30. Now you're 27, you've finished your accumulation phase, but now you don't care how long it takes you to get to financial freedom. So what shifted that mindset from I need to be financially free at 30 to I don't care if I'm financially free. I don't care if it takes me until I'm 50 or 60 to achieve financial freedom?
Yeah, I guess it came originally just from how I started to feel once we had that base done. I'm obviously a new dad, living on the sunny coast. I love the work that I do now, and there's probably 2 or 3 other things that I would love as well. And I don't really, I guess just looking at the 2 different options, one would be working massive hours, stressing out to bring it forward to be free at 40. And then it's I've got the rest of my life, I want to do something, I'm going to be wanting to do something anyway.
Yeah.
Or it's do I just not go that stress and grind and just it happens when I'm 50 and it's just it just makes more sense to me thinking about it. Like I guess the freedom idea at 30 probably come more so when I had jobs that I like hated and thought was like shit, but now I have the confidence that whether I hopefully keep working at Pumped or whether it's something else, I feel like I have the confidence and the skills to do something that I love that'll bring in an income. And it's like, now that I have that, I want to be doing that, however that looks over the next 20, 30 years. So it's like, why stress and grind and be like, get it earlier when I'm like, I want to be doing what I'm doing anyway. Like,
yeah, like I think the illusion of financial freedom or like retiring early is something when we're younger and probably a little bit more inexperienced. It's something that we value.
Yep.
But then, you know, once you start living in alignment with your value, well, once you understand your values, and then once you start living in alignment with those values, you start to take a lot of pressure off these time constraints with your life, because you're happy in the moment, you're happy in the now. And that's what the most important thing is. I think that's what financial peace is for me as well. It's just like, yeah, I love going on holidays. I love going on surf trips, snow trips. I love going and, you know, going to tropical destinations with Tay and just relaxing on the beach and sipping cocktails. But, you know, 10 days of this and I'm super bored. And I'm like, I need to contribute. I need to do more. Even like what I've realized is when I'm not in like routine or structure, sometimes the habits that I implement, the things that bring me the most joy, fall by the wayside, like meditation, like eating well, like sleeping, like going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time every single day. Like these things fall by the wayside. And after a small amount of time, I'm like, I actually don't feel as good as I feel when I'm doing just my normal life. So do you feel as though that's relevant to you? Like obviously understanding your values and then living in alignment with your values has taken this pressure off to have it all now and just be present and enjoy the journey, and then it will end up coming eventually anyway.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly how I look at it. It's like the Jim Carrey quote saying that he wished everyone was rich and famous so they could realise it's not all it stacks up to be. Same thing as like a rich in status as well. Like it's like this, I don't know, this extraordinary thing people are chasing. People spend all their time trying to chase this like extraordinary life, but I feel like that's subjective, and the more you progress along, that extraordinary is always going to be that next level above, and you're never going to really get there. Whereas I'm trying to like love the ordinary small things. Brings me far more joy. Like if I can get happiness and content from those most simple things, like I've struggled with the concept of being like, because that sometimes sounds like a cop out. Like you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to enjoy little things. I don't want this and that. So it's trying to find the balance between like loving the ordinary small things, but then also like striving to where you want to be. And I've only just recently started to feel that balance feels right for me at the moment. Can't even remember what you were originally asking there. What we say again?
That's all good. Like I think one of the things I want to go into is like talking a little bit about, you know, your values and how they've sort of shaped this contentment with the moment and living presently and just, you know, being here and not needing to be financially free at 30 anymore and just happy to kind of push it out a little bit further. So like, what are some of those values that you've incorporated into your life with everything, like family, health, work, investments?
Yeah, like I've spent a lot of time on my values, like, because it's worth spending the time on, right? Like it lets you, if you're having trickier moments, feeling a bit stressed, like lets you just go back to doing action, making decisions based off those values. To me, I've got sort of 5 key values. One of them is the concept of wealth, financial peace, the whole financial aspect. It's not the be all and end all for me, but the financial peace that I have now, that concept is a big value for me because it's just puts me in such a better headspace and lets me enjoy every part of my life so much more. Not, especially now having a family, like with my wife off work, like not worrying about where the next meal's coming from and all that stuff. Having a big buffer there, and it's a really important value, and that's probably been the cup that's been most full for me over the last few years, building that. And that's probably, now that I've got that base, that's can drop off a little bit. I'm okay with that. Another important value to me is health, as it is for all of us. Pretty simple, like nutrition, hydration, quality sleep, stress management and movement is sort of like the way I look at health. I'm probably, with all my values, I don't go 100% all in on one thing because I just feel like that for me might take away from some of the other things. So I take the pressure off and just try to get it like 89, 90% right across the board with all my values.
Well, that's what, Paul Chek talks about as well.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be 100% all in. Like you're actually better off just operating at sort of an 80% with all of these things because you've got more capacity to focus on all of these things. And it's like, if you went all in on health, then your family value would fall by the wayside because you're trading time away from Melise and Ollie to go look after your health or whatever it might be. And same when it goes for financial, if you spend too much time focusing on that, then maybe your health falls by the wayside or the family falls by the wayside. So it's not about going all in on one. It's about having a balance across the whole value system.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other ones that are at the top of the list?
Yeah, so that health and wealth, and then connection, which is just like, I used to just call it relationships, but I think connection summarizes it better for me. Like that's just with my family, with my friends, with myself, with nature, like just feeling, that's what life's about to me, like being vulnerable, loving people and yourself, and that's a big value. And then the other two are adventure and wisdom. So adventure to me is just, I get a lot of joy and satisfaction out of going to new places, trying new things, playing new sports, like meeting new people. Could be a massive trip around the world. It could be just taking my son to the beach. Like that brings joy to me. And then wisdom is like one I've recently sort of started to include, that concept of just learning and growing continually. I don't think you get to a point where you're just like, I know it all, this is all I need to know, I'm happy. It's like basically trying to get better and learn and grow at the things that I love and I'm passionate about. That could come in a number of ways. It could just be like reading and learning, listen to podcasts. It could be like going to speak to an old person and seeing what their thoughts on their life. Like it could be learning a new instrument. It could be anything. It's basically just trying to grow in things that you love and enjoy. That's sort of my 5 values. And then talking about the balance, like you said, with health, if I go train 15 hours a week, it might take away from other values. And I've understood as well, like that balance isn't going to be equal across the 100% of the time. And I've learnt the concept of like, there's stages of life where I will go out of balance, and it's not just letting that happen and stay that way. It's like acknowledging that, speaking to Melissa about it, being like, look, at this stage, like we've just had a newborn that requires more time. That family relationship value is going to be like more time right now because he needs more time. And then as he sleeps a little bit better, like that'll come down and I can get that extra training session in, or we can go on that extra holiday, or I can read the extra book to grow. And like, it's more being fully at peace and okay with those values, sort of. That's the base, but they can shift and change and go in and out of balance over the years, and that's completely fine as well.
Man, that's so inspiring to hear. Was there some like books or people that you listened to that kind of helped shape that belief system or value system?
Yeah, I didn't really have like, maybe not one person that I listened to forever. I've got a lot of my thoughts and perception, like with how I see things now, from podcasts. I've had so much time like with those previous jobs, and even when I'm rocking early to sleep at night, I just always got something in. I enjoy a few podcasts. Like I enjoyed Joe Rogan, I enjoyed Tim Ferriss. They're probably the main two. Back in the day, I was more into health. I like the Paul Chek stuff. I'm more find podcasters that I can really, that communicate really well, that I really love, and then just like specifically choose episodes that appeal to me. So it's sort of just been like random bits of random people here and there on podcasts that I love.
It's so convenient that you got those podcasts out there these days that kind of enable us to broaden our horizons and just listen to the best in the world of what they do. And that's the coolest thing. And like going back to what you were talking about at the end of part 1, it's like we are blessed with the choice here in Australia as to the information that we choose to consume, the decisions that we choose to make. Like it is really a choice. And it's like every single person has a smartphone in their pocket, and every single person has access to hundreds of thousands of hours of the highest quality content coming from the highest quality people out there, that it's like literally right at our fingertips right there. And it's just, we've got very similar lifestyles, very similar values when it comes to all of that balance there with all of those different things as well. And I think both of us have that desire to keep improving, keep learning new things, not because of any other reason, but we can, and it's exciting, and it sparks that curiosity, which then, leads you to new things. Because like something that you've come across recently and you've been teaching me a little bit about and got me a bit excited about it too, which is cool. But it's, what's next for you, which is this, like you're starting to diversify your portfolio now. You're starting to look into crypto and this, decentralized finance space that's all unfolding at the moment. So like, what is next for you now that you're at peace with where you're at in your life right now, but you still want to keep moving forward?
Just touching on what you mentioned with the whole learning concept, who you've listened to, it's sort of an in the moment thing for me. Like if you asked me bloody 4 years ago, if you asked me in another year, it's changes. It's sort of contextual to what I'm into at the time. So back when I was really focusing on that wealth value a little bit more, it was like propertychat.com. It was books, like heaps of books about The Secret Life of Real Estate and Banking, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all that kind of thing. And then when I got the base, it was like, I want to get back into training. So I'm listening to like stuff about health, like it just chops and changes with what I'm into at the time. And then other times I might feel like I'm fully in line with my health and wealth, and I just want to like switch off and listen to some random shit. And it might just be like some person on Tim Ferriss's podcast that like works with chimpanzees in Congo, and it's just random shit. Like, and it's just cool. Like, hearing what people have going on. So that chops and changes, and I've given myself the freedom for that. Just listen to what I'm into at the time, which is cool. In terms of what's next from here, for me, it's like, I know I'm into that crypto stuff a little bit. It's not in a big way. It's just like, I believe in the concept. I stick same thing with property. I believe in the fundamentals of it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, just the big picture again. Put a little bit of money in there that I can afford to lose. If it goes to zero, made the wrong call. Goes where I think it'll go, made the right call. Doesn't matter either way to me.
So you're fully detached from the like whatever that ends up becoming. It's just like it's a bit of fun, a bit of play. Like I don't really care, because it's probably all changed a lot more since we've had our little fella in January. Like the world's just completely different once you have kids, which I've found, and that's why with the investing stuff, I've really just taken a back foot and knowing that I've got it set up properly and I can trust it, check in on it every now and then, not stress on it. And I really am focusing on just like being the best husband and dad I can be. Like it's such a new stage of life. It's so precious, so like special. And I just want to be the best version of myself, be the best dad I can be. That sort of coincides with my health value. Like I want to get back into training, eat better. So at the moment, that's probably like, in the near future, that's the bigger things I'm focusing on is my health and my family, and get to come to work. Like I'm sort of down to like 25 to 30 hours a week now, and I get to work with you guys, which I enjoy, conversing, get my sort of wealth value and my big picture stuff at work, get to talk to some epic people. So really just enjoying like where I'm at the moment. I don't feel like anything's missing. I feel like I'm on the right path and feeling great. In terms of the wealth side of things, next step for me is actually thinking of selling the first one we bought at the top of this cycle, whenever that is, maybe 3 years, maybe I'll wait till the Olympics, maybe whenever. Sell that, and then I want to do a knockdown rebuild on my house in Curramoney and build my dream home. So it's what I've always wanted. Like I don't really mind about fancy cars and clothes. It's just like I want like my dream home. That's probably the one thing I want. I want a big joint with a pool and a sauna and a gym and open plan living area, because it's the plans look so insane, and I'm so excited. Hey, I'm like basically going to steal them for my dream home.
It's so exciting, like, and because I don't know, I'd rather spend my time and money getting that right and that's where I'm going to be like training. It's where I might be working at some point. It's where I'm going to spend all my time with my family and friends. It's like such a big component of my life is going to happen at this place. So I'm comfortable with spending some money there and making that a big goal, because I don't want to like, I don't know, save your 30 grand for your 2-week holiday each year and then come back and be like, let's do that, save that again for next year. I still want to travel, but I know that I'm going to be spending like 99% of my time at this place. So like I want it to be epic. The other investment choice will be that house and granny flat we've got out on the beaches. Just been speaking to Benny about it. I just want low maintenance, set and forget, simplify it further. So actually talking as well at the top of the cycle to be potentially selling that granny flat if I can. Like someone just pick it up, take it somewhere else, and doing a knockdown rebuild there, building like a big brand new dual income home there as well. No, they can't be rented separately at the moment. Maybe that'll change, but even if it doesn't, like the rent's still really, really solid.
Yeah.
On like a dual income place. So yeah, I want to be left with like my epic big dream home with low debt, one dual income place, brand new with low debt, and then it's like that's it. Like I don't really need much more. The plan would be long term would be to once the kids are out of home, like I'm talking way down the track, would be downsize that home because a big 5-bed, 3-bath probably won't need at that point.
By the beach basically as well.
Yeah, to be downsizing that to something a bit smaller just for Melissa and I, and then probably selling the other one as well and just having my debt-free home wherever Melissa and I are living then, and then the rest of it just in something super, super simple like the S&P index fund 500, like it's done over 9% for the last 100 years, and it's like there's a 4% rule that I heard someone speaking about on the Tim Ferriss podcast a while ago where over the last 100 plus years, it's been proven that you could take 4% out of whatever you've got in there, say the S&P index fund, and it will continue to grow over the years, go up and down. But there's like, it's done 9% on average, you can take out 4 and that'll be like what I live off.
Yeah, so if you got like a mil or 1.5 mil in there or something, you pull sort of 40, 50K per year. Is that sort of the idea?
The idea will be, by then it'll be downsize my home debt free, and then it'll be maybe 3 to 5 million that I'll just plonk in an index fund and sit there.
Okay, nice.
Taking out 4% on 3 mil is 120K. Pay taxes and whatnot. But then that's like, history has proven that you can do that in a way that it won't go down. Like it'll stay the same or grow over the years with that rule. And sounds super basic, but I don't know, I'm pretty basic going. I just want to have like,
I love it,
as simple as possible, and just that's sort of be my long-term financial freedom sort of position.
Very passive as well, you know, when you're over 60, you know, that's sort of the time frame that you'd be playing with.
Yeah.
You know, you might not want to deal with tenants, with maintenance requests, with, you know, managing all of those different things. But obviously that's such a long time from now. So much is going to change between now and then. That you won't put too much pressure on it. But yeah, it's really, really exciting journey. And I think like just the most important thing that I want people to take out of today's podcast is just this idea of financial peace, that financial freedom isn't necessarily the goal.
Yeah.
It's just the inevitable reality of the decisions that you've made. But because you've already made those decisions, you've built that portfolio, you have this financial peace where you know that it's all going to work out, and the only difference between where you are now and where you want to be in the future is time.
Yeah.
And that's what enables you to have this peace, and also doing the work and understanding your values and understanding the things that spike your stress and anxiety, and avoiding the things that do that, and you know, understanding your values and the balance of those values, and when you need to be focusing your attention on one area of your life or another. You know, it's just really cool to see that you can figure this out at such a young age, and, you know, you're supporting so many people in helping them build their foundations, build their portfolio, understand how their mind works, understand their values and things like that, so they can live more in alignment with their true values and just get to this place where you're at, man, which is inspiring. And it's so good to have you a part of the team, man. And you know, so good to see where things could potentially go and things like that, man. So thanks so much for sharing your story today. And we'll have to get you back on in the near future and see where things are coming up.
Yeah, happy to sort of come on anytime, and not quite as crisp as you guys talking, but happy to sort of share where I'm at. And that financial piece thing has been a big game changer for me recently. Like I always thought I was going to be striving hard to be able to get to this dream goal in the end, but it's amazing to be able to like fully live that now. Big buffers in place, like knowing I'm on the path and knowing I'll be doing meaningful work. Like it's been an awesome sort of concept and an amazing sort of mental shift that's come off the back of the accumulation phase that I didn't think was going to be as sort of positive as it is. It's been amazing. So, I mean, like sometimes I simultaneously feel like I've got everything figured out and nothing figured out at the same time. Life's pretty messy, just doing your best, but I'm happy at the moment, and we'll see what happens from here.
Love it, bro. Thanks heaps, man. Have a good one.
All good.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Getting cool, bro. Yeah. Oh, sweaty. So sweaty. Oh, that's good. That.
So nice, eh?
Oh.